Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to day five of our 1 week long FTP on harnessing AI tools for teaching. I welcome all the participants to today's session. Today, we have quite a bit that we're going to be covering. And before we get started with today, last time we had some discussions on how Google Gemini's educator suite could be used for creation of various tools, quizzes, and other elements like course curriculums, syllabi, etc., by using Gemini in combination with Google Classroom. And we're going to go forward from there, and we are going to look at two very important platforms today, both of which are very detailed and they do a lot many things and can have a lot of impact in terms of our preparation and can help us sort of get a lot of tasks that we want to do automated, at least in the first draft version of the same. So let's begin. I'm going to share my screen and you'll be able to see Google coming up on the screen right there. I hope my screen is visible. If anybody can just let me know if you can see the screen or not. And I'm also audible, right? If that is okay. Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, sir, but screen
Thank you.
is not visible.
Yeah, it should be coming up now. I switched back over to Google Meet. So yeah, now we're going to be looking at the first platform for today. So this platform is very interesting in the way that its best part is that it's completely automated apart from just one simple prompt that we have to enter into the output that we want to generate. So it saves us a lot of time in terms of having to continuously prompt back and forth. And second important element about this is that it's not a website. So it doesn't work in the form of a website exactly. Rather, it works in conjunction to our existing Google suite, that is Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Forms, etc. And it has to be utilized with that. The platform that I'm referring to is this one right here. It's called as briskteaching.com. And this is the homepage of the website itself. And the way that this functions is that it sits as a browser extension in our browsers that we use, whether we are using Google Edge, Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, whichever browser we are using. And I'll just show you how to set it up in a minute, and then we can go ahead and start looking at how to use the platform itself. So what we do is, as first-time users, we click on Get Started. It will bring us to this tab right here, where we have to sign in into the portal. And once we sign in, it will take us to the Google Chrome Web Store. So this is one way of doing it, but an easier way of doing it is this second part right here, which directly takes us to the setup page itself, wherein what we do is we type Brisk Teaching Extension, and this first option that we're getting, which is Brisk Teaching AI Assistant for Teachers, Chrome Web Store, we just have to add this to our browser. There will, if you click on it, it will show add. I'll just repeat this step once more in case anybody has missed it. When we set it up for the first time, we just simply go to google.com. We write Brisk Teaching Extension. We click on this option right here. And when you open it, you will get the option of add. Currently, since I am in the incognito mode, it will not give me that button. Once you click on this button here, what will happen is it will take you to this part right here, which is extensions. And here you can see, it will take for a few seconds. It will ask you to log in. And then once you log in, it will be a part of your browser extension right here. And we can turn it on or off from here, if depending upon whenever we want to use it. And by default, it remains turned on. And if I want to remove it, I can simply remove it from here also. As I'll show that once again, just in case it was not clear. We click on extensions. go to manage extensions, and that's where you will find Brisk teaching as being located or installed in the browser itself. An alternative way to get it is click on directly, if you're using Microsoft Edge especially, click on extensions, click on this button right here, and you can simply type Brisk AI here. Sometimes it will show up, sometimes it will ask us to go to Google Chrome web store because that's where it originally sits. So currently, see, this is the one, Brisk AI teaching. And if I click on get, the same thing will happen. And once it is turned on and once it is set up, what we have to do is, any questions so far? Is the setup part clear? Anybody who is not clear on this? Otherwise, I'll go ahead. I heard the
Sir, this we have to download.
it no, you don't have to download it. What you have to do is when you go to the Microsoft Edge or Google Chrome web store, there
Hmm.
will be this button here which says add to your browser. If you click on it, it will ask you to sign in using your Google account, and then it will automatically add itself to the browser right here in extensions. It's a part of the browser now. It's not being downloaded on the device per se. It's in the browser. It's sitting as a part of the browser, and I can turn it on or off depending on my requirement.
This can be done through mobile also instead of laptop.
It can be, but the browser might sometimes go out of focus because when it is installing, I have noticed this happening once or twice. It stops working in between. Most of the times it works, but yes, it is possible to do it with the mobile also, in case we don't want to do it on a laptop. Right?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, let's go ahead. Now, once this is set up and ready to go, what we do is we go to a Google Doc. Now, here it is very important to take note of one thing before I move any further. The important thing to take a note of is this: the Google account that we are using, right, for accessing the Google Doc, which I'm using currently, which is this one right here, which has my profile icon. This Google account and the account that we are using to sign in Brisk has to be the same. I'll repeat this. Your Google account that you are using to access your Google Doc and the one that you use to sign in into Brisk platform has to be same, because some functionalities, which I will show you in a minute, work only directly if both the accounts are same in both the places. Right? Now, once the extension is installed and once it is ready to go, you will get this icon right here. Each time you open the Google's Office suite or Google Docs, you will find this black button. This is the button for Brisk. Sometimes after opening it for the first time, it might ask you to again sign in if required once more, right? So what we do is we click on this button. Currently I had signed in, so it will not ask me that. And for the first few days, I think about 1 week or 15 days, you are able to access the premium version of this platform. After 15 days, it downgrades us to the free version automatically. So there are certain changes in terms of the kind of exact language model that we can use, etc., which we will see as we go ahead. But even if we automatically are on the free plan, which I am on currently right now, as you can see on my screen, it is more than sufficient to do what we want to do, right? So I'll just close this again. What we do is we click on this button and we will just get this one option right here which says create. All the options that we want are available as a part of this entire create setting only. So for those of us, as I said in my last discussion also, for those of us, in case we are not able to access Gemini inside the Google Classroom, Brisk serves as a good alternative because it doesn't require any institutional ID to access it. And most of the things that we do in Gemini suite that we have seen, we can do here as well. Right? As we can see, there are some very important options right away which stands out for us. Right? Like for example, we have presentations, quizzes, podcasts, interactive activities, rubrics. We'll see all of them one by one. And even it has the option of creating guided notes and handouts for us also, including some other administrative outputs like email formats, letter of recommendations, etc. Let's start with some of the most obvious ones. So let's look at the syllabus first. Now, just like Google Gemini inside Classroom, no matter which option I select, the method of accessing all of them is same. I'll show you. What we do is we click on syllabus and we go to next. And this is where we are brought to the main page. Now, there are a lot of things that we can do here. Even if the output looks very minimalistic, there are a lot many things that we are able to do from this small box right here. For example, I can switch over to any of these options in between the generating of the output in case I want to by this first button. This serves as the output language in which I want the output, and this has a much larger collection of languages, just like Google Gemini also. Whichever language I select, it will give me the output in that automatically. Another best part is we can get up to 3 outputs at a time with this, as we can see. Somebody's mic is on. Can I please request to mute? Thank you. Yeah. So the more languages I select, I can get multiple outputs together at the same time. Let's do that. Let's just select English, and we'll also select maybe where I can find Hindi as well, right? And finally, this is where the change between the free plan and the premium version happens, where we can switch between the two AI models. Also, I can select my output format as well. So we can get a Google Doc to as the output format, or we can now get a Microsoft Word output also. Now, after that, what we do is this first select the level or the grade of the learner, right from year one, or that is the first grade until university. That's what I've selected. We can also select the learning duration from here, right from 1 week to 36 weeks. A typical semester that we would know will be probably of about 16 weeks each. And then finally, we simply have to give our topic or title or the course here. Let's just say, anybody can give me a suggestion about what syllabus we should create, maybe any topic, any course in mind. I can create output for that one. If anybody has any suggestions, you can unmute and let me know. Otherwise, I'll type business communication only. Green energy. Yes. Okay, there seems to be a topic of green energy. Okay. Syllabus on the topic of green energy, right? This is all I'm going to type. And then we finally simply click on Brisket. Here, that's all we have to do. Now, I don't have to do anything more. It will take a few seconds to understand all the instructions. After that, it will automatically directly transition to the Google Doc itself. Where we get this output, which is basically a course description, course objectives, and a week-wise distribution is still generating. A week-wise distribution of 16 weeks worth of topics, followed by some basic instructions of what some other additional information can be kept in here. There was some problem with this. Just a minute. As I think I selected multiple outputs, that's why. Let's just try it once more. I'll keep it to a single output for now. Next. Let's simply say green energy. Let's see. Okay, I all again took 2 outputs. I'm sorry for that. Let me remove Hindi from here. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Once a single output is selected, it will come in the same element itself. The multi-output version is still there working on it. This is the exact complete output that it gets. And we can see it being working right here. It will try to follow the entire template of what a syllabus should look like. That's something that we have already seen with our other platforms, including Gemini and all of that. But what we would notice is that, again, just like Gemini, the quality of the topics that it is able to sort of understand from just the two keywords of the subject matter itself is very sufficient in terms of trying to give us a preliminary draft of the syllabus just on the basis of those two keywords. Now, not only that, I can also select this and do something further. For example, if I go to change level, I can change the reading level, or I can change the target audience learner level of this output and get another output just below this only. Unlike Gemini, the previous output does not disappear here. All the versions of the option that I select remain there as it is until I choose to delete that file or delete the text as per my availability and my convenience. So that's a very, very important element of this tool, unlike some of the options in Gemini. Now we go to the next one. We'll generate it below this only. Let's go to Rubric. As I said earlier, the process is the same. I'll go to next. And here we get, based on the option that we select, we get a few small changes that we have to make. So for the syllabus, it asks for the target learner, target level of the learners or the audience. Here it gives us an option to switch between 3 to 8 point scale, which is slightly more than Gemini, which was I think about 3 to 5. So if I go to 8 point scale, let's try to ask it to assess something for us. Rubric for speaking skills assessment based on the Common European Framework of Languages, which is CEFR framework. And again, same option. I'll click on Brisk, and sometimes it might go do this. It might generate a new doc where it will now give me an 8 level distribution. The formatting will automatically be done at the end once the entire output has been generated. Currently, first it will generate the text, and then it will go ahead and generate and format it completely once the entire output is ready for us to look at. There we go. Level, comprehension, fluency. I'll just format this a little bit. We have a description, grammar, pronunciation, interactive communication, cultural competence, and overall coherence, and a 8 point scale distribution for the rubrics that we have selected. Right now, we go back to the original version. Let me delete this part from here.
If we want, we can edit it also, right?
Absolutely. So let's say if I want to put in my entire description here, if I want to change something, for example, let's say understand only isolated words and very simple phrases and simple sentences. That's the best part about Brisk, that since it's a part of the Google Doc only, we can make whatever changes we want to the output without any hassle or any difficulty. And we go to the next one now. The next one is lesson plan. Now, this is also very interesting. If I click on next, here it will give us the time duration of the entire lecture. So the maximum it can give is up to 2 hours. And let's try to get the output in some other language this time. This time I'll switch over to Hindi. And let's see, for example, we say that even though my prompt will be in English, the output will directly come in the target language that I've selected. Essay writing with types of essays, for example. I click on Brisket, and this time, there we go. As you can see, there seems to be some error that has come, but it should be able to rectify it. If not, then we might have to edit that part. But let's see once the output finishes generating. And this is what I was talking about. So with Hindi, it seems there is some language error that is coming in, which we might have to rectify. And I wanted to show that other box. Let me regenerate this once more. Let's go to English only. It will be easier. Switch over to English. Now this time, once it finishes generating, we saw that it gave us the follow-up option to modify it further. Okay. Why is it still coming in Hindi? I think my language did not change. I think I need to change my language. Yes, it did not take it. Yeah. So the part that I wanted to focus on is this brisk is facing some error today. It doesn't happen usually, but this additional text that it is generating, it should not be coming like this. There's some CCC part that we saw in the beginning. This is something it seems because they're updating this. Up until last week, there was an option to get multiple languages together. I think it's a part of the internal testing that they're doing. Let me remove this. Common core standards, I do not want that. Now, after selecting this, we can make further edits where we can generate a quiz from this. I can make this longer, I can make this shorter, depending on my requirement of how I want to transition into the notion of whatever output I want to select. Okay. Due to heavy traffic, you have run out of standard LLM usage. This happens. The free version has some limitations of the number of times you can use it, especially when the traffic is heavy. I can simply just switch over to my another account. Just give me a second. I'll open Brisk from that. So this is a good way to, I think, also see how to log in again. So this is the sign in option. I'll just switch over to my account so that we can access the free plan with another. So this is a good thing to do, especially when we are working with free tier platforms for some of these applications where we want to generate multiple drafts at the same time. Hopefully this is ready to go now. Yeah, there we go. We are back again. So in this manner, we can create some of the early, options between lesson plans and syllabus, etc. Some of the more powerful features which I want to show, let's start from them. The first one is quiz. Now, the advantage of using Brisk as a part of the Google Suite platform is this. If I go to quiz, right? English and everything remains the same. We can decide between 3 categories of questions: multiple choice, short, and long response. I'll click on multiple choice. Maximum it can give 20 questions currently. Let's say we will give it to some topic, for example, Darwin's book, Origin of Species and Theory of Evolution. Now here, I can generate this quiz in 2 ways. I can get an output in the Google Doc, we'll do it, but a more powerful feature is this. If I transition from Google Doc to Google Form, right? And if I click on Brisket, it will automate. So this is why I said that we need to have access to the same Google account at both the places. This was the reason. Now I select the same account, and once I click on continue, it will automatically transition over to Google Forms and will generate the entire quiz based on the topic that we have given. There we go. Let's see. It should generate automatically. Yeah, it is generating. So as we can see, it will generate 20 questions for us, which then we can use like a normal Google form, like a normal quiz that we create. Once it finishes generating, I can add on the questions here. As you can see, I can stop this generation if I want from here. And this can be then directly assigned also. Right, I think it is still working. Yes. So this is the quiz right here, just on the basis of the topic that we have entered. We can modify this further, add descriptions, answers, etc. No, I think the answers are also there, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, I think the answers are already given, which is very interesting. It has already earlier this did not come. They have now added the facility to get the answers also from their end, which is another very interesting part. Now, if I simply want to get this output within Google Doc only, it's not very simple. The rest of it remains the same. Let's just transition to Google Doc. Suppose, let's try.
Sir,
Yeah, ma'am.
how to hide this answer key? I mean, if I have created this
Yeah,
Google form already created, and I
yeah.
want to circulate it
Okay.
for a exam purpose and anything
Yeah,
else,
yeah,
how
yeah,
to
yeah.
hide this answer key?
So
Means
once it
answer
is,
key only visible for me, not
yes,
for
of
them.
course, of course. Yeah, yeah. Once it is created, it works just like a normal Google form. You can circulate it. Viewers will only be able to see the quiz, nothing else. You can change the settings and anything like we would normally create a quiz in the form itself. It is just automating the creation part. Further process, editing can be done by us. The answer key will not be visible.
Okay, sir.
Okay? Yes. So if I change the outputs to Google Doc now, and this is what I wanted to show, let's go to long response questions. 10 open, no, not open, 10 descriptive questions with answers on the topic of quantum mechanics. So we can give it a specific topic also, as we have already seen, it recognizes that. And I click on brisket. Same thing will happen, but this time instead of MCQs, we will get descriptive answers. As we can see, it is generating the answers for questions for us with a response space. So it also assumes that we might print this. And if I click, now this is what I'm talking about. So this is the additional box. If I simply click on answer key now, and if I brisk it again, there we go. The answer key is now coming up, which can be used as a further reference on however we want to take it forward from here. It will give a question-wise answer key, and it gives answer key in the form of these points. I can make it shorter, I can make it longer, I can translate it from here depending on what I want to do. Right? So this is the first one of the more powerful features of Brisk. The second one is this one right here. Just a moment. This is the resource option. Now here, resource can be considered in multiple ways. And with resource, we can use it more powerfully if we use the attachment option. I'll show it to you without attachment, but with attachment, you can attach three kinds of files. You can upload image files in case you have a scanned image copy of a text. A PDF works, or a Google or a Word doc will also work if you have some inputs from there. They can serve as additional context for the prompt to work better. What we give is reading material on the theories of, let's say, for example, career counseling for MA psychology students, right? The rest of it remains the same. I'll click on Brisk again, and let's see what happens. There we go. So it basically generates a short resource for us, which can be used as a very quick reference in case you want to give it sort of pre-post session lecture as a handout to quickly summarize anything. Multiple ways it can work with, right? And the best part about this is that it doesn't directly give the resources like generating detailed information without checking the correctness or the relevancy of it. Instead, what it does is it gives specific concepts exactly on the basis of the prompt that I give or that we give as users, and it sticks to that only. And then on the basis of that, we can make it edit it. We can edit it further. I can make it longer. I can make it shorter. Let's see. I click on make it longer. Now the previous draft will remain as it is. Below that, again, the same thing will be generated, but I will have a bit more description on this. Right? There we go. So this is another very powerful, useful feature inside of Brisk, which is the element of utilization of resource time. Now let's go back. I'll again go to create the next important part. It does have a podcast feature, but my next tool is going to cover it in a much better way. So you can try out the podcast. I'm not trying it because we have limited number of attempts that we can have with the free account. You can try the podcast feature, but the next one that I'm going to be showing has a much better version of it. Now the guided notes do the same thing that resource does, but in a much detailed manner, in a descriptive manner. Again, let's give it the same prompt. Theories of career guidance and counseling. And before I go ahead, if I click on prompt history, all our prompts that we have typed in this session so far, they all will be with that particular account, they all will be available in the prompt history option in case we want to re-access any prompt for our further reference. So again, same thing, theories of career guidance and counseling. And with that, we get these practice worksheets that it generates. So the guided notes work in the namesake as it suggests. It is designed to help the student revise or learn a topic in the guided form with these short closed tests that it creates. So very useful functionality which can get us on the go worksheets that we want to generate very quickly. Of course, modification to any of them is possible, but it does a very good job of generating that initial first draft for us. In the same way, it can generate a presentation also. But I would say that with presentation, the one major, not exactly limitation, but currently what it does in the free version is that it gives us only the talking points that you would normally have on a slide. It will not give detailed descriptive content. So that's one very important element to take a note of. Now with some of the attempts that we have left, let me just delete this part first. And what we do is we come to the administrative tasks section. I really like its format of letter of recommendation that it gives. Again, any language it can give in, and whatever we want in a LOR, I can simply just describe it. And on the basis of the description, let's say with the name of the student, LOR for Pathak to apply at Oxford University in UK in the English program for a PhD. His research focuses on literature and language. His areas of interest in sports are chess and rugby. Now let's see what happens. We click on brisket. It will go to, sometimes it will do this depending on the option that I'm selecting. And there we go. So the name and everything will be taken into account. And on the basis of that, it will generate a format, a basic format of an LOR as it should be given. Of course, then we have to edit this definitely. And then again, same options, more longer, more detailed, shorter translated version, anything works. Let me show you the translation. This is really good to look at. Let's translate it to Hindi now. And we see the same exact output coming up in terms of Hindi also. And it's pretty good in terms of the level of translatability that it has, especially as a machine translation process. So that is quite unique to look at. I mean, if we compare both the versions side by side, it's pretty accurate. So these are some of the additional features that it has for us. Let's go back to the original draft, the original text. And in this manner, we can have depth of knowledge questions. We can have interactive activities also. I can click on start from scratch. And let's see what it gives. Okay, for this, what I would have to do is I would have to click a classroom inside an LMS. And this works best with the premium version of the plan. No worries, as I said, the next student I'm coming to will do a better job of doing this for us. And that too based on specific texts. So let's come back to it. But this option is also available there. I'm showing this because it's a part of the LMS process here in case we want to do that. It has separate options for math problems and other specific kinds of outputs that we would want, like an individual achievement goal plan, a 504 plan, observation notes, etc. and this is brisk in general. Pretty much can do everything that the Google Gemini can do. And again, as I said, the best part is we don't need any access to any institutional ID with this one. So this is the first tool for today. Now we're going to without stopping, we are going to the next tool directly. Now this tool is designed for a very different purpose. We are transitioning away from generating outputs on the basis of prompts, and we are moving towards creation of resources and gaining insights, and most importantly, as I said last time, interacting with documents. And again, this tool is by Google only. And this is something very important because the best part of this platform is the kind of things it lets us do just with the free version also, right? And I'm sure some of us may have heard of this, but in case anybody is coming across to this for the first time, the tool is called as Google's Notebook LM. And originally it started out as a platform for taking notes, as a note taking app. But over a period of time, Google has realized its potential. It has been rebranded as a AI powered research partner. And the moment when we look at it, it will start to make sense because the kind of outputs that it gives for us, especially for researching on any text, those use cases will also become clear depending on how we are using it. Now, this is pretty easy to access since it's by Google. All we need is a Google account and we can access it by clicking on the button right here. We sign in like we would normally do on a Google account, and we would be brought to this part right here, which is the Google's Notebook LM homepage. And what we have to do is, as first time users, let me switch over to this part. I will open both accounts parallelly. The difference is this is the normal Notebook LM. The normal is this is not the premium version, and this is the premium version. The only difference is you will be able to see a pro part right here. I'll show you the differences between both of them, which are not that many as we go ahead. Now, as first time users of this platform, what we have to do is we have to go to this button, create new, which will bring us to this dialog box. I'll just recap very quickly. Go to Google, write Notebook LM. It will bring you to the platform. It's by Google only. Log in into the portal. Click on Create New. With that, you will be brought to this dialog box right here. And one of the most powerful features about Notebook LM is its cross-platform functionality and the amount of formats and files it supports. And it does all of this together. Now, if we start noticing from here on the right, this first box allows me to manually enter any text, any ideas, any notes that I have. I can copy paste my own content here also. So this works as a manual input. This section allows me to enter two kinds of web links. One is the website, where I can add multiple websites, multiple URLs, and it will take all of them. And this one is separately for YouTube. We will come to all of this in a minute. I'm just showing you all the options one by one. This is, again, very powerful. Whichever Google account I'm using, it automatically directly connects to the Google Drive of that particular account and allows me to get files from there. I can normally fetch a file like I normally would. And then this first tab is for uploading files, where it supports .text file, a PDF version, even MP3 audio formats as well, audio files, and .doc files. Now, here's how it works. Let's get a PDF for us to go. Okay, before we do that, the one major difference, the first difference between a pro version and this is a normal version, let me go to create new, is the number of files I can upload. With the free version, we are able to upload up to 50 files, which is a pretty generous number. So which means that by mixing up all of this, by working, as I said earlier, they all work together. It's not like that if I just click YouTube, I can upload only 50 YouTube videos. No, I can take everything simultaneously together, 50 in total. With the pro version, that number goes up to 300. That's the one major differentiation at this point between both of them. There are other differences in terms of page limits and all of that, but they don't really matter in the larger context of Google's Notebook LM, because we are able to upload large text files also. We can upload dissertations, we can upload books. I'll show you what I mean in just a second. So let's go ahead and let's get some resources on a topic and we see how it goes forward. All right. So let's just say, let's download some articles. This is the first one. I am randomly downloading them, assuming that we select whatever papers we want. I'm going to save them here. Downloads, new folder, Notebook LM. This is the first one. This is the second file right here. Should be a PDF somewhere. Yeah. So while it downloads, I'll save this one as well. And then this one. So all three are downloaded. Let's do something else now. 3 papers. Let's get a book. I don't know if a book would come directly, but let's see. Even if we get a large number of pages, yeah, okay, fine, we got something. Thanks. This is a larger book, 400 pages. And then we go to YouTube. I think this much should be sufficient. Let me just type business communication. And we'll take a few videos from here. This is a good one. This is something we typically use a lot. This is a very good lecture on business communication from Stanford. I'll take this URL and let me just get some blogs also. Blogs on business communication. Yeah, this one should work. This is the Harvard Business School. All right, we are ready to go. Now, what we do is we come back to Notebook LM and we start uploading all our. So now these would be considered as our primary sources or primary inputs. We click on choose file and go to downloads. Let's upload all 3 first here. And all our uploaded files, whatever I'm uploading here, it all will come in this section. This is very important. We'll see as we go ahead. Let me add more. Yes, ma'am.
You have copied the URL from the YouTube normal
Yeah.
video.
Yeah.
And in here itself, how you can download it? You have to copy paste, means without downloading.
Yes, it will
normally-
directly take. We don't have to download the video. It will fetch it automatically. I'm coming to that. I'm just uploading the PDFs first. I'm coming to that part. So let me upload this last paper. So these are our text files, right? This is the first kind of input. Now we go to the next input, which is the YouTube video. For that, we just have to come down to this button on YouTube and the URL that we have. Copy this link, paste it here and click on insert. It will automatically take the video directly. There we go. We can see that the title has been recognized. It works all well because they all are part of the same space, right? Google and YouTube. So it's recognizing the video just on the basis of URL. Not only that, even this web link as a blog, it will recognize that as well. I can click on insert and we are ready to get. So in this way, we can add up to 50 files. That is what I mean. Seems to be some problem with this one. I think there is some. Okay, yeah, there we go. We are ready. This is not recognizing. Seems to be some problem with the ability to recognize. If it's a paid article, it will not work. Let's try one more time. What is the information? Invalid URL. Okay. Let me take another one. Maybe this one. Yeah, this one is inserted. So we have multiple file formats now. And this notebook, now this space is called a notebook. We can create n number of such notebooks. There is no limitation on that. And this one notebook can be considered as one project on this exact topic. And all the notebooks that I have created can be seen on the home screen right here. These are some of the multiple notebooks that we have. So this notebook can be renamed right from here in case I want to rename it. Not only that, this can also be shared with multiple users. Let's say we are working in collaboration as a team, or if let's say I want to share it with my students, I can click on share and it works just like Google Drive. It has permission levels, notebook access, anyone with a link if I want to make it public, full access to the notebook, which means they can edit or modify the notebook, or chat only means I'll just show you what that means in a minute. And with copy link, I can just copy paste this link in an email or put it on a group, or I can directly send invites by entering the email IDs of my students from here. Right? So that's the share option. Now, the output version of this entire notebook is divided into three parts. The left panel is our space to access all the sources. They call it as sources. So ये हमारा primary tab है. This is our primary tab where all our primary texts are kept. And I can add or delete sources from here. If I want to add more sources, I can click on add. It brings me back to that same option. If I want to delete any, I can go to these three dots, remove or rename it based on whatever I want to do. And apart from that, it also does something else. We'll come back to that in a second. But this is the entire list of resources that we get. The middle section works just like ChatGPT or a chatbot, where I am able to simultaneously interact or chat or talk to all of these files together. So currently, if we see here, it says 6 sources. So there are 6 sources here. The first primary message is the overview of the 6 sources which it has analyzed and given to us. So if we read through it, it's actually quite powerful. The source materials provide a comprehensive overview of various aspects of business communication, emphasizing on complexity and essential roles in organizational effectiveness. It's an overview of the same. I can copy this. I can paste it anywhere I want to. Now, copy paste it in a Word file or wherever I want. Save to note, it will save it as a notepad. And we can see that there is something coming up here, which is business communication. And as I said originally, it started out as a note-taking platform. So anytime I click a button, save to note, wherever it appears, it will save it in the form of a note just in this 4th space right here. I can delete this. This option we will come back to in some time. It's meant for something else. And if I want to manually edit this, that is also possible. So this part works just like a normal editable platform, which allows us to add notes manually also, but that is another option. So we'll come back to that. Okay. Now, let's say I want to know something more about these texts. Let's say, for example, what does the video... Okay, we'll come back to that. One second. Let's say I am confused as a first-time user about where to start interacting the texts with. So it also gives us, not only it understands what the material is, it learns from that. So it gives me these indicative questions to start out with. How does organizational culture and context influence communication effectiveness? So if I put that question, the answer that it will generate in the form of a chat will be based on these 6 files that are given here. That's all. It's not going to access the internet in any way. So the possibilities of it making a mistake, of hallucinating as we call it, with chatbots is minimized to a larger extent. Then also, they still have this option here which says notebook error can be inaccurate. Please check its responses, which is quite good. So we can see we have an output. If we see the quality of this output, again, it will be very powerful. The influence of organizational culture and context is fundamental to communication effectiveness. And then it goes on to, I'm not going to go line by line, but it goes on to talk about all of that in detail. Let's say I'm not satisfied with this draft, or I want to delete this section. I can click on refresh. It will delete this entire chat history. If I come here, I can also change the chat styles. So I can make it in the form of a learning guide. I can customize it also. I can give custom instructions. something which is not possible with all the tools for in the free version, and it will customize the output on the basis of whatever we write here. And it has given us some examples of what to write, customize the styles, suggest different roles, define goals for your project, etc. It's basically an all-inclusive thinking platform, as it were, right? Also, I can change the response length, longer, shorter, whichever way I want. This is the length of the chat output. Now, the question which I was typing earlier, what does the video talk about? Let's just say I want the information only on the video itself. So it will do that. Let's see if it does that or not. We'll give it a few seconds. Yeah. The video title, so out of 6, it has recognized that we're talking about this one. The title so-and-so from the Stanford Graduate School of Business talks about these elements. Now you must have noticed that there are some numbers that are given out after each output. This is basically, this is very important. I'll come back to the previous chat. This number that we see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if I come over to this number, it is showing me that section from the primary text. For example, this first is this first source right here, this book that I have uploaded, and from where it is collecting this information, which exact page or paragraph it has referred to come out with this output. And as I said earlier, this has two functions. One is to organize the sources, and the second function is this. If I want to access the primary source, let's say somehow, I don't have to open the book separately. I click on this option. It will give me what it is called as a source guide. This is an entire copy of the complete text itself in a text-based format. Formatting will be here and there because it has taken from a PDF version, but it recognizes each and every element and character inside this. And I can access it easily by clicking on just one button. Let's say if I click on this, it will give me the ability to play the video here, plus the entire transcript of the video will also come in case I want to use that somehow. Right? I can just play this from right here. No need for downloading the video at all, or no need to even switch over to YouTube, except for copying the link. Also, with this chat feature, we can do a lot of things. Generate a quiz of 10 questions with answers on business communication. Now, going through, again, whatever it creates will be on the basis of these 6 sources only. So we'll just give it a few seconds. And each time we notice that whenever we ask a question, the suggestive questions are going to change. So it is learning on the code. That's its best part. And there we go. This quiz draws from so-and-so sources. We can see the questions coming up here. Answers also coming up from there. And I can see exactly which section it has referred to, which text part it has referred to from which source. Right? So in this manner, it generates an output for us directly. And it can do a lot of things. It can be, okay, for example, suggest some further areas of research for business communication. So now, again, on the basis of that, this seeks, however many texts I upload, it will create this list for me. So these are some areas which can be explored, the dynamic influence of culture and context. Some description follows. Some subtopics will also come on what can be further researched on technology, media, and behavioral shifts, communication breakdown and negative dynamics. So it intuitively understands all the texts that we are uploading here. Now, we've looked at 2 panels so far, but this is not the most powerful feature or features of Notebook LM. Its most powerful features are the ones that are available in these boxes, the ones that we'll see now. Let me close all the extra tabs so that it doesn't take too long to generate the output. Now, as I told you before, it began as a note-taking app. So I can click on this first button here which says Add Note. So this has both the purposes. It can allow us to interact with documents and do all these things that we want. Plus, let's say if I'm reading a text for the first time, both as a student or even as a learner or as an instructor also, I can take my own notes I can note down my ideas here, just like a normal text note-taking platform. And I can simply come back to it anytime I want to. I don't have to even download it anywhere. I can access it from any part in the world. All I need is the access to this account. I can log in into a notebook LM. It will be there as it is, right? And we have all the basic editable features, changing the headings, italicizing it, even inserting web links here, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know why this is not coming. It should come. Okay. And from here, I can save it as a note also. Delete this. Now let's come to its most powerful features. Starting from the ones on the bottom, let's say I don't want to even prompt it also. There's a quiz option here. Generate an AI interactive quiz. Now I'll show you what it means by interactive. I click on this. It will take a few seconds. We can see all the outputs will come here one by one, generating a quiz on the basis of 6 sources. Now this quiz can be played after explaining the texts inside the classroom by displaying this on a projector or a smart board or even laptop devices. Multiple students can work on it together because we can share this as a notebook also. It will allow me to generate a quiz also. Now I already had one output ready for us because it takes time for these outputs to generate. So this is the quiz right here. Now this is very interesting. I have uploaded an entire novel here, Pride and Prejudice. I'm sure some of us know it. And this is the quiz part. I can actually show this quiz inside the classroom. This is how the quiz works once it's ready. It is still generating. This is the final version. This is one question from the novel. What reason does Mr. Darcy give in his letter for interfering in Jane Bennet's relationship? Whatever I select, it will show whether the answer is right or wrong with an explanation. And if I want to have a further explanation on this, I can simply click on explain. It goes back to the previous chat window and it learns from that. And so the prompt is automatically given. And then on the basis of that, it will give an explanation as to why this answer is correct. Right? And this is the explanation right here with a detailed analysis of why the answer was wrong. And this can be done interactively. We don't have to close the quiz anytime. I can click on next. In this way, I can get up to 12 questions. There's a hint also. In case, let's say we want the students to guess this answer. Think about Miss Lucas's conversation with Elizabeth regarding her views on marriage and happiness. This is our quiz this time. So there are 13 questions here. Same thing, exact same output. A hint, an answer, and I can keep on clicking next. Until I reach the end of the quiz. And I can give this quiz, or I can ask the students to take it as many times as I want. There's no limitation on this. And we get a score also. Out of 2, out of 3, 13, the student got 2 right. Accuracy level. How many were right? How many were wrong? How many questions did the students skip? So this can be given as a thing to do at home also, to review a text or to review a set of reading material. Then we can review their quiz as well. Which did they get right? What did they click wrong? Why was it so exact, etc. That's the first output, which is the quiz option. Yes.
So the same quiz can be shared for multiple students at the same time, right?
Yes, absolutely. All you need to do is just click on the share button and you can enter their email ID. You can share it with them. Right? And you can have the permission levels also. Now this part will, thank you for asking that question. Now this part is interesting. There are 2 levels of permissions. One is full notebook. This is meant for collaborators who want to edit the entire notebook at the same time. But if we just want the students to chat with the text, I can change it to chat only, where they cannot access sources or notes, but they can see the chat function where they can chat with the texts. This middle section only works, right? Depends on our requirement. Okay, let's go ahead. The next one is flashcards. If I click on flashcards, it will again go through these and generate a set of flashcards for us. And this is what they look like. I have flashcards somewhere here. Jane Austen's flashcards. Yeah, there we go. This is also very good. There are about 70 flashcards since this was a novel. And we can ask this question, flash it in the class. What truth does the novel state universally acknowledge at the beginning? And we can ask the student to guess it, and I can click on it or press the spacebar as it says. it will give an answer. If I click on explain again, in case I don't understand this question, it will go back to the chat and let me understand this point as I want. I can flip it from here also. There are 70 such flashcards as we can see. So it takes care of, let's say I don't have access to hard copy flashcards. I can utilize this just as easily. Okay, this is still generating, so we'll come back to that, our original prompt. And these are the flashcards right here, right? So 70 in total, quite a huge number. So that's the second option. Let's see if it is generated. Yeah, there we go. 70 again. So 70, it seems to be the upper limit, right? Answers will come for any of them as we want. So this is the second option. Now, the third one is mind map. So what we did with heuristica manually, this allows us to do with one click of a button. And it's much more powerful than that. What it does, if I click on mind map, it will, okay, I created two by mistake. It will study all of these tools and it will give me a mind map like this. Let's see where it is. This is the first one. This is what the mind map looks like. Not only that, this mind map actually breaks down all the sources that we have, learns from them, and gives us a key overview of all the sources that we have uploaded. There we go. It has generated twice. I'll delete that once. Yeah. Elements of communication. And this mind map is interactive in nature. Let's say, for example, if I go to definition and purpose. Under definition and purpose, there are these 5 elements that the texts look at. Process of sharing information, effective communication, key organization, and finally often neglected organizations. If I click on this, it will further take me to the subtopic. It will reach till the last part of the node, and it does this for all of them simultaneously. And I can get any version of this map if I want. Let's say, for example, I want my focus to be on just the first node. I can minimize the rest. That will increase the size of the map. And I can download this. Now this exact version will come. I don't have to modify it multiple times. See? And this is much better than heuristica. The text is very visible in much more detail. Now let's say I don't want to do the opposite. I want the second one to be my focus, not the first one. If I download it now, it will come in this variation, right? Plus, if I want to know about a specific topic in detail, let's say process of sharing information. If I click on this node, it will automatically transition to the chat. It asks a question like this. Discuss what these sources say about the process of sharing information in the larger context of definition and purpose of the text. And it will give me a descriptive answer on the basis of that as well. So it's a really good way to summarize all the sources that we have, right? Now, the fourth option is reports, very detailed again. If I click on this, we get 3 very important outputs, and I'll show you why. We'll go to study guide first. We can see that what the output is saying. Short quiz, suggested essay questions, and glossary of key terms. This is what it will give to me for all of these sources together. And it will give a quiz. It will give descriptive questions, plus a list of important vocabulary items on the basis of whatever sources I'm uploading. This is what it looks like, in case it takes more time to generate. Briefing doc, right? This is the one. See, an executive summary of the text. That's what I created, right? Just a minute. Yeah, no, I created a study guide. I'm sorry. I'll come back to briefing doc in a minute. Study guide, I don't think I have created for the previous one. Okay, it is ready, thankfully. Yeah, so this is what study guide looks like. Short answer quiz. And then it's a proper quiz only, which can be copy pasted and given directly if you want to. Answer the instructions. These are the questions. Answer key will automatically follow. No need to prompt it separately. Essay questions are given further. A glossary of important terms. And that's all it contains. I can click on show prompt, and this is a custom prompt, which means this tells me in the background in Notebook LM what happened when I clicked on generate a study guide. This was the prompt that it took in its language model, right? I can copy this entire output from here in case I want to, and simply paste it. And we have an entire quiz ready for us to use wherever we want to, with answers, of course. In a similar manner, another option or another output that I can get is a briefing doc. Now, briefing doc is really good. What it does is, this is a good topic point to show this. Now, let's say I have uploaded 50 sources here, right? I want to get a briefing doc or a summary of just one source. That is also possible. This checkbox that we see here, if I remove them, if I click on just this one only, what it will do now is if I go to reports and if I go to briefing doc, it will give me an overview of just this one source. So by checking or unchecking these boxes, I as a user have a greater control on how many sources I want to interact with together at the same time. So I can choose, I can upload all 50 of them. I don't have to delete them. I can select which 10, 20, 30 I want to interact together at the same time with. So this is what the briefing doc was. It's basically an entire summarized version of the text. This is really good for detailed texts as we see. So this is an executive summary of the novel, a set of themes, then I think key characters and the relationships with each other, character sketches, etc. Let's see what it gives for this one once it finishes generating. And then we are coming to the last two of the most, and I've kept the most important for last. These are the last two most important features of Notebook LM, which make it the most powerful, one of the most powerful tools I've ever seen, which are podcasts. So we'll come to that in a second. So this is the briefing doc. Again, executive summary, table, all the information is available here. I can simply take it, copy it again, and then generate it. And the last part in reports is blog post. If you want to generate a blog, I can create my own post also. I can give it a prompt. Let's say I want to create a LinkedIn post out of this. It will do that. All the outputs will come here only. And then we come to the most important part. We can see these two options here. Now, I'm not going to generate them because it takes a lot of time to generate these two. I'm going to show you what the output version looks like. I'll click on it. I just have to create audio overview. It says what it does right here, generates an AI podcast based on your sources. So once it's ready, it will start showing here. This is what it does. I'm going to stop sharing my tab. 1 second, because now I have to listen to the audio. So just give me a second. I'll share my Pride and Prejudice tab. It should be coming up on the screen. There we go. Now let's listen to this. This is the audio podcast that I created before this session.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're looking closely at Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. But maybe not just the romance you remember.
No, we're using the text itself, your sources, to really dig into the machinery behind it all.
The social maneuvering, the economics, especially the economics, and how those first impressions are constantly being tested, and frankly, often proven wrong.
And you really have to start with that iconic opening line, don't you? It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife.
Right. Everyone knows it. It sounds so witty. But what are the sources telling us about what it really means in the context of the story? Is it charm or something colder?
Oh, it's definitely colder and deeply ironic. It's not about the man's desires at all, is it?
No.
No, it's about what society, particularly mothers with daughters to marry off, expects from him. It's like his fortune means he owes them a husband for one of their girls.
So when Mr. Bingley shows up, a young guy, large fortune.
Exactly.
Now, this is a pretty long podcast. If we see, it is about 16 minutes. Now, this is not all it can do. So if we notice here, there is an option here which says interactive. And when I click on it, something really powerful happens. Let's see. Can you hear me?
The text is
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're looking closely at Jane Austen's Pride and
Oh, hey, our listener wants to join in. What's up?
What are the major themes of this text?
That is a fantastic question, and actually a great way to frame our whole discussion today.
Yeah, that sets us up perfectly. We got three main threads we're pulling at today, which really cover the core of the text.
The first and most obvious from the title are the twin themes of pride and prejudice.
Exactly. And that's not just the personal flaws of Darcy and Elizabeth. It's about how those feelings shape the whole world they live in.
The second major theme, which is arguably the real engine of the plot, is the absolute crushing economic.
So not only can we interact with the podcast, we can not only can we listen to it, we can interact with it also as a listener. We can ask questions to the podcast, and it will give us our responses just on the basis of the texts that we have uploaded. And if we come here, somewhere it also saves the transcript of this conversation. I am not able to find it. I'll come back to that later. And the third important thing which it does is it allows us to download this entire podcast also. So this download button is available right here. So in case we don't have access to the internet always, I can play this podcast, in my device also. It works in a similar manner. So I have downloaded it, and if I share my screen, I'll just show you in a second. Just give me 1 second. I'll just share my entire screen. We should be able to see that podcast again. So this is a downloaded version, right? It has a title, Pride and Prejudice, the Ruthless Economy. That's what it has titled it. We can rename it if required, but this is a downloaded version of the same. So it really creates a very good audio overview of the entire set of texts. And this is what I was saying, it takes a lot of time to generate. In case you want to use it, my suggestion is that generate this in advance. It takes some time because it has to read through all the files, understand them, and generate a conversation out of it. But that's not all. We also have one last feature, which is a slightly advanced version of the same. I'm going to come back to Pride and Prejudice. And just like audio overview, we have video overview as well. So I have started the video generation for business communication in the background, but if we come back to this here, we notice that there's a video that has been generated about 1 hour ago. Let's listen to this for a minute.
All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into one of the most famous, most beloved novels ever written, Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. It's a fantastic story all about witty banter, social climbing, and of course, transformative love. So, that famous opening line, it's not just some clever, witty observation. No, it's basically the rule book for the entire world we're about to step into. It perfectly sets the scene for what is, essentially, a high-stakes marriage market, where literally everything, your future, your reputation, your survival, it all hinges on making the right match. And you gotta understand, for the 5 Bennet sisters, this is no game. Their family home, their whole estate is entailed. Now what that means is it can only be passed down to a male heir. The problem? They don't have any brothers. So the second their father dies, they could lose everything. Their home, their status, all of it. So finding a good husband isn't a wish, it's an urgent financial necessity. So it's in this total pressure cooker of world that our 2 main characters, Elizabeth Bennet and the super wealthy Mr. Darcy, have their famously terrible first meeting at a local dance. And as we're about to see, first impressions, well, they can be really, really wrong. And what's so fascinating here is how these two are almost like mirror images of each other, especially their flaws. Elizabeth, she's sharp, she's funny, she's fiercely independent, but man, does she jump to conclusions fast. And then you have Darcy. He's incredibly rich and from a noble family, but his whole reserved, guarded vibe just comes across as unbelievably arrogant and proud. So, here's the moment it all goes wrong. At that first party, Darcy flat out refuses to dance with Elizabeth, and he says out loud that she isn't pretty enough to tempt him. Ouch. Of course, Elizabeth overhears this, and that comment, it deeply wounds her pride, or as she says, her vanity, and that's it. That one moment cements her prejudice against him right from the get-go. The novel actually gives us...
So this not only creates a video overview of whatever texts we are uploading, and this works especially with single texts. it also creates these visuals which help us easily understand the overview or as well. So for anybody who has not read this novel, this is a very good way to get started about what the background of a text is. Now, not only this, we can do something else also. So let me just close this. One second. From here, I can, just like I can download the video, I can just like I can download the audio, I can download the video as well. I have clicked on the download button. Let me reshare the entire screen so we can see the downloaded version of the same. And it is downloading. It will take some time. It's about yeah, I think it is downloaded. This is a downloaded version, about 8 minutes. I don't know if the audio was audible in the full screen or not, but it's basically the offline version of the same thing. And there was one question which I could very quickly see in the chat box. Let me answer that very quickly. You can see that they've started to experiment with Indian languages. They don't have all the languages right now. The audio version works with these languages so far. Hindi is available in them. Videos are being developed. It's not ready yet. This is something that's very new and it's very powerful in terms of what it can do. So hopefully over a period of time, it comes out for other Indian languages also. So yeah, this is all about Notebook LM. And in case this notebook is automatically saved, all I need to do is come out of here and I can see all my notebooks. These are all projects that one can work on. And as I said earlier, this is a very, very powerful platform for multiple methods and means. So it can allow us to help us in our research also in terms of brainstorming and other elements. So this is the one that we created. And we can see that audio overview took so much time. The video for business communication is still generating. So that's why I said generate this earlier in case you want to show it in a class or download it even better, right? So with that, I'm going to pause here, and we have covered quite a bit today. Thank you for listening to me patiently, and we can have